Well, I'm ready to review a game that's so bad, and yet it has a few good signs to it. Voice acting and 2D loading screens. And that's pretty much it. Everybody reviewed this game before, especially I Don't Have a Nose, which he still hasn't reviewed Tag of the Power Juju, and Cadagarus should do the same thing too. Anyways, we're actually going to review this. Disney's Aladdin, and yep, Nasira, a Disney villain that was not appearing in all the other Disney sequels of Aladdin. Return of Jafar, which I'll get to another time. And those of you who already watched the Aladdin sequels, trust me, most of them were good. The third one was way better. This fourth one, not so great. Fourth one. Also, that's Jodie Benson, by the way. The same voice actor who played Ariel. And believe it or not, she's having a wonderful time. And we're nearly a minute, 2 minutes into this video. And she has a pretty awesome wicked laughter. And perfect soundtrack there, guys. And yeah, this looks pretty bad. These characters' faces never move, as they stay the same. They can only use their expressions by moving their arms around. Well, last month ago I finally played the game, and they weren't kidding. The game is really bad. But it does have a few good things. The voice acting is okay, and so is the loading screens. And like any type of Disney and amounts of sequels, they reuse, well, probably not the background, what you just seen, and most likely in the music. Okay, sorry to interrupt again, but those of you already watched pretty much the sequel, which I have over there all stacked up in all the other games and movies. You know what? I'll show you guys another time. Fortunately, he's not voiced by Robin Williams, but Dan Castaneda. I didn't mind Dan Castaneda voicing the genie from The Return of Jafar, which is the very first pilot cartoon for the part of the series. Yes, and then most of Kingdom Hearts sequel. Well, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 he was in. But he can still shapeshift into anything he wants, which is pretty cool. Only doesn't do pop cultural references. But on here, he stays the same as like everybody else. And he sounds more Homer-centric as usual. And for some reason, Aladdin is back in his home. Spoiler alert, in the third movie they got married. You know, in the first movie they already got married. Bit of delayed things, I guess. And now he's back being a street rat. And you can see a bit of his line on his backside. I didn't mean to drag this video longer for like 5 whole minutes, and I haven't talked about the gameplay yet. And yeah, every time you walk towards the genie of the lamp, people keep on doing lots of useless information. Sometimes. I usually avoid the genie every time you walk by him. He talks a lot. Yeah, you do that in the game as well. Collect coins and all kinds of platforming games, and Aladdin using a sword, just like he did in the Sega Genesis. Look it up, it's very interesting. Also, controlling Aladdin does have a few problems here and there. He'll have delayed jump. In less than 2 seconds, he'll do a jump for like less than 2 seconds. And I only played half of the game because as it gets kind of boring. And that you have to do side missions for most people. Oh, you have to sneak quietly and grab the apples without the Apple Saver noticing you're stealing them, just like in the movie. And you have to slowly wait until the elevator or magical wood floats up. And there's a bunch of flying magic carpets that are obviously there for platforming. And then you want to make sure you collect enough apples to flow at most enemies, and have to use your sword, and the enemies will become a little bit clever to use block attack. And combat is not the best part of the game. And I just hit on this other next video, didn't I? Well, this game is not good, or it's the best one, and it has like lots of problems. If you do end up in a bonus stage, there's no point. Oh yeah, Genie does that. Just don't save or Aladdin or Jasmine, just let them fall to their doom. The bonus stages, you won't not have a choice to get this far into the game, getting 100%. Believe me, I tried. The African mentioned Acrobat stage can be really much of a pain in the anus. That's because it takes a long time to time your jumps perfectly, because you have to jump here and there, collect these coins. It made me nervous. It's because we all seen like all these games cliches before. You have to time your jump perfectly or you'll fall to your doom. And that's not a good thing about this game. And you have to keep on helping people, collect more apples every time. You know, on the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, you have to collect enough apples. And then get the cake for the big fat guard to get past. And then throw more apples to give the kid a flute and all that stuff. That's lots of backtracking. And not to mention the Genie token looks terrifying. Who thought this would be a good idea for this game? It's kind of like Aladdin Sega Genesis. This the Genie token head thing was that thing back then. And then yada yada yada. Sheesh. As I can keep going on and on about this game's level designs. And especially the Sultan's Palace. And there's no way you can block any animal's attack, so you're basically screwed at this point. And I already stopped playing the game because it's just one of those where the bleep do I go kind of games. Instead, you have to try to figure out yourself without looking on YouTube like everybody else does. Also, every time a land takes damage, the game will give you a bit of health point. And there's many miniature problems with this game. And the music will play over and over again. It gets so bloody boring. Not to mention there'll be a few different enemies like these broomsticks from Fantasia. Yeah. Also, there's a scene where Aladdin gets captured by the guards by Dia, and the genie is trapped inside a bottle. Now that you played the monkey Abu, and you thought the genie's voice wasn't air grain enough, here's a bit of Gilbert Godfrey to stroke on your ears. Abu can also attack by doing the barrel row. I mean, just rolling attack. And I gotta say, these enemies are pretty weak. And you have to collect a key to help out Aladdin from being in prison and continue the journey to save Princess Jasmine, which is also in the bonus stage, even though she's been captured. And you end up in the dungeon avoiding spikes, boneless pits, and fight Razu, which is something great for some reason. And he's pretty hard, yada yada yada. You end up in the desert. And I just realized one of the foes that Aladdin fought is one of the bad guys from Aladdin and the 40 Thieves. Also, there's poisonous cobras in the desert too. So I had to find a cure or the hero will drop dead. And you have to do solving puzzles and all kinds of things, which will make the game a lot tougher and a lot harder. I did not get that far into the game, so I'll do like everybody else does. We'll get through a gameplay, and I'll explain the rest of this whole entire gameplay in the next video. And you can swing on vines, jump here and there, fight a boss, which is a giant spider, and end up in the Cave of Wanderers. Here's a save. A genie from his present land in the Cave of Wonders. Looks tough and yada yada yada. I'll explain the rest of this in part 2. See you guys in the next one.